April 15th, 2025. I'm in Norwich, Connecticut. I'm going to do a comprehensive look around the outside of Christ Episcopal Church, which is located on Washington Street in Norwich, Connecticut. This church was built, I'm not sure when it opened, but it was constructed in 1849. My assumption is it took a while to construct. It's a massive church, looks to be made out of stone, probably granite, I'm not sure, but appears to be granite. And it closed in 2021. I believe it was May of 2021. So there are no longer services there. As we approach this beautiful door, this architecture is incredible. The staircase I'm walking up right now appears to be either slate or granite. I mean, you can see the hinges on these doors. Everything, as we sweep up and look at the arch of this grand doorway in this absolutely incredible church. I mean, they don't make them like they used to. 1849. I mean, that's, the golden age of this type of construction. See this beautiful hinge, the doorknob, and that old keyhole right there. I mean, the details, the fine details. Okay, now this is on the National Historic Register, this church. As it should be. I mean, this is video and it doesn't really capture what it's like live in person. This is the parking lot, by the way. It's a very large parking lot. As we pan a little bit to the right, kind of gives you a good view of the fact that there was plenty of parking at that church. There's beautiful shrubs, there's beautiful flowers coming out of the ground, nice cherry trees. Okay, there's a sign, Christ Episcopal Church. And yeah, no more service. No, there's no longer services there. It's closed down. It's just a shame as we go up this ramp that leads to another one of these beautiful doors. Again, those similar hinges to the other door that we saw there. Door handles, the attention to detail is incredible. Again, I'm not sure if it's granite. It could be another type of stone. I'm assuming granite. I don't know that for a fact. If you know the answer to that question as to what that stone is that makes up the construction of this church, I would love to know the answer. Again, more of those hinges. This says no entry, so that must be an exit. It appears to be kind of I would assume, almost a handicap accessible, kind of a ramp or whatever, but it's meticulously built where it matches the church. Okay, we're going to take a sweep up, look at some of these beautiful windows right there. And the wrought iron, rails and everything. This is an absolutely incredible structure, this church. I mean, I get former church, I guess. I mean, it's still a church. It's not operational. More beautiful windows and beautiful stonework. I mean, the masonry, it's just absolutely incredible. To build something like this in today's world would be, I don't know, off the charts, astronomically expensive. Another one of these beautiful doors. These doors are all around the church. Absolutely, incredible workmanship. Okay, 78. So the number on that is 78. So 78 Washington Street is the address. Another one of the hinges. I love these. These are absolutely incredible. Beautiful door handles. Strict attention to every single detail when they built this church. And cars moving up and down Washington Street. It's an apartment complex right there in the back. All right, here's a side view. Oh, the sign, Christ Episcopal Church with flowers coming up. Maybe somebody is maintaining the property. I hope so. I don't know. But there's a close-up of that sign. There's a beautiful, I don't know what kind of tree, some kind of a maple tree maybe, I don't know. Another one of the arch doorways with beautiful stained glass windows to its left and right. A look up. This is an immense church. This is a very large building. I don't think this door was used much, if at all, in recent history, because the step up to get there looks to be either missing or I don't know. I don't think that was utilized. I mean, I don't know for sure, but that would be my guess. I'm walking right down the sidewalk on the side of the church. Another one of those doors. Now this, I believe, everything to the right, that including that door to the right, is an addition. I believe this is an addition. I don't know when that was put in, many years ago. But that does not appear to be the original, part of the original construction. Office entrance right there, sign. And yeah, there's more parking on this side. I mean, I'm sure when the church was, really at full capacity, they had no problems with parking or, it's just both sides and the back. There's parking all over the place around there. Back when it was constructed, people just walked. Okay, this is a side view, or took a horse and buggy or whatever modes of transportation they had in the late 1800s. And then we look down Washington Street very briefly here. Take a walk across the street. Let's see if we can get a different view of the church. That looks good right there. That's kind of that's a good angle right there, looking downhill. Right there. My lens is not quite wide enough to capture the entirety of the building, so I'm going to have to make some adjustments here, but we get a look. There it is, right there. So that's facing the church as if you were I'm standing across the street on Washington Street, looking directly head on at that church. The big door in the beginning of this video was, I'm assuming, the main entrance, which you would park. That's the largest door in the church, so logic tells me that that's the way that most of the parishioners got into the church. As I walk across Washington Street, I'm back in the parking lot. And I'm going to get some different angles, different looks. I'm going to, as I said, go around the church. But yeah, this part here is an addition. It has to be an addition. It's not. They did a good job matching the stonework. They kind of mimicked the building's the granite, the layout of how they, put those slabs of granite together, but you can tell the color is slightly different. So yeah, that's an addition. It's, the office. Let me back up here. Okay, there we go. That's the side view. Plenty of parking in front of that. But that's a good, solid view of a very, very beautiful church. A very beautiful building. An architecturally significant work, in my opinion. To be here, in person. I think the people that went there did not take it for granted because it's incredible. I'd love to get inside, but that's not the mission today. The mission today is to document the exterior. That's more of a modern door, obviously, as opposed to the old original doors. Again, some of these windows here on the side have been retrofitted with new. Okay, let's look up here and get yeah, there's stained glass windows way up there. Those windows are quite large. But these windows that you see right there, those two windows, they've been retrofitted with a more modern window. I love the windows up above. Very steep pitch on the roof due to slate being used. Slate is very heavy. If the roof is too flat or less of a pitch, it wouldn't be able to support the weight, and it would collapse. So they had these, very high pitch situations back when they constructed churches or any buildings. If you look at old houses, with slate, they have very, very steep roofs. Nothing you could climb up or walk on like today's modern homes. There's a decent side view. Trying to catch every angle. There's we're right behind the church. So there's a really, really good look at Christ Episcopal Church in Norwich, Connecticut in the year 2025. So we are right in as far back as you could get behind this church. Okay, we'll take another full view, top to bottom. And I'm going to walk around a little bit. And again, I'm going to check out every conceivable angle of this beautiful structure. More windows, another door, another entryway, off in the distance there. And there's another angle. I got to get all angles. I mean, my hope would be that this church is utilized, if not as a church, something, housing, apartments, condos. I don't know. I have no idea. But something to just occupy this building and utilize this gorgeous construction and this historically important, significant building. And there's a nice small older window, stained glass. You can see a good view of that stonework. 1849. Absolutely incredible. You can see that. Look at that. It's just amazing. Slate all around on the ground right there. And we'll take a little walk up here. I'm going to walk up the parking lot And I'm going to turn around at some point here, and I'm going to look at another angle. Again, I want every conceivable view that I can get of this Christ Episcopal Church. There's the Yannick River. And as we sweep around, there it is. Back up a touch here. All right, there it is. Dead center. Encapsulating the entire frame with some of the parking lot involved. You can see the stained glass windows, the slate roof, the cross up on top there. You know, some churches have giant steeples and this type of thing. This one does not have that. It doesn't need it. This is to me, a stunning work of architectural art. People drive by it every day. Most people have seen, anybody alive today that lives in Norwich. I mean, this thing's been around for, 1849. I mean, people are very familiar with this church. But boy, to get on the ground and walk around, it's really amazing. We'll get one last look. Gentleman riding his bike up the hill there in Washington Street. That's the end of the video.